I am Marcus Blake here at the 52nd 2022 USA Film Festival, and we are speaking with the filmmakers behind the documentary celebrating the great legendary jazz artist, Omar Sosa. And we're very excited to get to talk to you. So we're going to dive right in. And how did this project come together? I understand you've been working on this since 2013.
Yeah, 2013 was the first time we filmed a performance with Omar and Paola Frazee at the South Orange Performing Arts Center in South Orange, New Jersey. We had met in person when you were touring with Jerry Gonzalez, I think, a year before that, and then we had Skyped. I was interviewing him for a small arts and culture publication called Tribe out of Providence, Rhode Island. And we hit it off, honestly. Like, we just had a good conversation, and so I approached him with this idea of saying, has anybody ever made a biographical documentary? And it was his manager, Scott Price, at the time I was talking to. And he said, well, people have offered, or people have approached us to do it, but nobody's really followed through with it. And yeah, 10 years later, it's finally coming out. So yeah, it's been a long journey.
Well, I have to say, I mean, it's about time. I mean, I see documentaries about legendary jazz artists all the time, and in my jazz phase in college, that's how I was introduced to you. A long time ago. And no, I'm not dating my age in this interview. But anyway, do you feel like it's about time that they did a documentary about you? I mean, it's like a long time coming, right?
Well, it take a long, but I'm really happy. You know, I talked to Soren when I saw the first cut. It made me cry.
Okay.
Why? Because you know, I see myself, with another view.
Right.
Yeah. So wow, I did this. I went to the war. I went to Angola. I got the guns. I lived in the street. I said, wow. And certainly was a moment in the documentary when I talk about my best friend. I said, was my brother.
Right.
He passed away. And it shocked me because I don't be able to have the opportunity
Sure.
to say bye-bye to him. And now, through the movie, when I saw him, I was looking at the movie with a glass of wine, and he said, bye-bye, brother, bye-bye. Yeah, virtually, but he's bitter.
I think that's the great thing about a documentary. It forces you to kind of remember the past, and come face to face with it. Also, to tell the world about legendary jazz artists like yourself. So I want to talk a little bit about jazz. When did you get into it? I mean, when did you discover jazz for yourself?
Well, I discovered it through my father, because every Sunday, when I was a kid, my father, he used to play some vinyls of Nat King Cole, Count Basie, Glenn Miller.
Right.
It was like a religious every Sunday. In the beginning, I don't put too much attention because it was kind of background music, but certainly I tried to make wow, this music is beautiful like this. So I can go, no,
Right. Right.
Wow, what is a beautiful melody? And I asked my dad, what is it? Where did music come from? And my dad said, it's come from America. Because actually, we don't be able to miss American music because it's music from the enemy.
Yeah.
So, in a way, we need to put like a choir.
So what you're saying is you like stuff from America just as much as we like stuff from Cuba, even though we weren't supposed to.
Yeah. It's like that. So basically, I started listening to this music, and I try to discover more and more, and through a couple of friends, we'll be able to collect some LP, and we listen. Actually, in the movie, it's a really beautiful moment when we was in the school and we listen to music later, really late night, because we don't be able to listen to listen to music. And actually, I fell in love with jazz without knowing it was a jazz.
Right.
Because I didn't even know what was the name. And I discovered it later on.
Well, and you talk about like the Latin roots of jazz. I mean, which is obviously very different from stuff that you would hear in New Orleans and all that. It's just it's on a whole nother level. What I'm curious about is you fusing this with electronic music. How did that come about? Because that's not a very traditional jazz thing.
Well, I have the great fortune to play with great musicians. A lot of masters. And one of them was Mino Samelo. he used to play with Miles Davis.
Yes.
Yeah. And when I started playing with Mino, yeah, he made me say, hey man, piano alone is not enough. You need to do some keyboards. I say, my brother, you know, but I don't know how to do this. I said, you know what? Let's go to Guitar Center and let's buy Bon Chappelle. I said, are you crazy? I said, no, you want to see. And we went and we bought a lot of pills. And he introduced me to the electronic world. And after that, it was really fascinating.
Right.
For me, because he said, what? I can twist the sound, I can sample myself, I can even use sampler for your voice, and all that stuff. And I said, wow, this is the thing. And now, you know, it's hard for me to go out.
I feel like that's a story for the jazz aficionados out there that they've never heard. So that's why we ask those questions at that nerd show. For you, I mean, were you a jazz fan before this?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, pretty early. I had one of my best friends who I went to college with at Berkeley, but also we were friends since fourth grade. Nathan Collins introduced me to jazz probably at a pretty early age, like high school or even middle school. You know how jazz bands are in middle school and high school? It's like they're playing like Night Train by James Brown or something, and it's like it's real slow,
Right.
and stodgy, and it doesn't really inspire you to tap your feet.
Sure.
It wasn't really a thing I got into as a really young person. But yeah, after listening to Kind of Blue that we discussed in the film, or even Bitches Brew by Miles Davis, like the how wide the spectrum is just in that one artist, like how many different kinds of sounds that guy produced. And on the electronic question, with Omar integrating electronic music, oftentimes you'll be hearing him play solo or duo or trio, but the piano doesn't sound the same at the end of the song as it sounded at the beginning of the song.
Right.
If somebody that doesn't know or they're not paying attention might think, well, the engineer's doing something or there's no really he's just controlling the stuff, but he's doing it in this really very graceful way. So you don't realize when he's hitting buttons and all this kind of stuff. So yeah, it's an incredible experience if you just let yourself happen. Yeah.
This is for the veterans that are a part of our staff, but also our audience who are also nerds. I know you served in the military, I did myself, but how does that experience translate into jazz? Because I'm assuming that's an experience that translated into your music.
Good question. Well, yeah, when you have a gun in your back, and you need to give flowers, it's some controversial things.
Right.
Because war never is going to bring you up. War is no positive thing. So being in three wars in Nicaragua, Ethiopia, and Angola, yeah, it's the biggest stamp inside of my soul to say no to the war. Yes, let's give love. Let's spread love. And this is why for me, I try to translate to music all the love and hope and optimism.
Right.
And try to embrace, if it's possible. Of course, I'm a naive person. This kind of attitude be in a war, create a fight, conflict.
Right.
Conflicts in a negative way, because conflicts in a positive way
Right.
can bring a lot of positive things.
Right. Well, we have time for one more question. It's the nerdy question.
Oh, the nerdy question.
Yeah, no, you both get the answer. It's only unique to our outlet, and so here it goes.
Okay.
If you could have a weapon of choice or a superpower to fight the forces of evil, what would you choose?
A weapon of choice or a superpower?
Or both? To fight the forces of evil.
You say a weapon of choice?
Yeah, a weapon
Yeah.
or a superpower. So it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be a weapon to hurt somebody. It could be like invisibility.
Weapon.
But then you have to say which weapon.
What would you choose?
A flower.
Oh,
Nice. Okay.
all right. I was going to say more like invisibility or flight or something like that, but I don't know how that would help the war effort.
Oh, you can get a lot of things done with
fighting bad guys.
invisibility.
I guess they could sell tickets to see me levitating and things like that. But yeah, I'm not sure.
Well, at the same time, as a filmmaker, having invisibility, you can, especially as a
I'm
documentarian.
not that kind of filmmaker.
But I put it away. Flower, full of light.
Nice.
Full of light.
I'll stand next to him. That's fine.
Nice. That is a great answer. Well, thank you very much. And I'm glad there is finally a documentary about you.